Hello everyone, my name is Michelle Kaunang and I'm from 6A class and I'm a student in International Business Administration at Samratulangi University, and now I'm gonna explain to you about the Total Quality Management Tools. So, if you want to know more details about this topic, just stay tuned and keep on watching. Okay guys, for the first, what do you know about the Total Quality Management Tools? So the Total Quality Management Tools help the organization to identify, analyze, and assess the qualitative and quantitative data that is relevant to their business. And these tools can identify procedures, ideas, statistics, cause, and effect concern, and the other issues that are relevant to their organization. So now we will discuss some of the total quality management tools that are available. Okay guys, for the first tools, it's called the Pareto charts. The Pareto charts are useful for separating the important from the trivial. These tools effectively states that the majority of errors come from only a handful of causes, or in a ratio terms, 18% of the problems are linked to 20% of the causes. So the point of this tool is to focus on that 20% that causes the problems. These Pareto charts are important because they can help an organization decide where to focus limited resources.
Okay guys, so this is the example of a Pareto chart, defects in shorts. A Pareto chart is a combination of a bar graph and a line graph. Notice the presence of both bars and a line on the Pareto chart in the picture. Each bar usually represents a type of defect or problem. The height of the bar represents an important unit of measure, often the frequency of occurrence or cause. The bars are represented in descending order from the tallest to shortest. Therefore, you can see which defects are more frequent at a glance, and the line represents the cumulative percentage of defects.
And the second tool is cause and effect diagram, and also called Ishikawa or fishbone diagrams. This tool identifies many possible causes for an effect or problem and sorts ideas into useful categories. Its purpose is to help identify and isolate the causes of problems. It is the only one of the 7 basic quality tools that is not based on the statistic.
Okay guys, so this is the cause and effect diagram example. Once all the ideas have been added to the fishbone diagram, the next step is to discuss the idea and clarify any ideas that are not clearly understood. For example, suppose your team has brainstormed possible cause of why the car will not start. A possible fishbone diagram is shown here on the picture. And the next step is to eliminate the ideas that everyone agrees will really not cause the problem. Everyone must agree. If one person doesn't agree, it must stay on the diagram as a possible cause. For example, suppose we know we have the key to the car. We could simply strike through the cause as shown in the fishbone. We have decided a couple of other potential causes of that the car are not really causes, and a line is drawn through those causes as well.
And the third tool is called check sheets. The check sheets is a tool that facilitates the collection of relevant data, displaying it in a visual form easily understood by the brain. Check sheets make it easy to collect the data for specific purpose and to present it in a way that automatically converts it into useful information.
So, the picture shows a check sheet used to collect the data on telephone interruption. The tick marks were added as data was collected over several weeks.
And the fourth chart, it calls histogram. So, histogram have to do with the variability. 2 kinds of data are commonly associated with the process. First is attributes data, and the second is the variables data. In attribute data is something that the output product of the process either has or doesn't have. So the variable data are the data that result when something is measured. So in histogram is the most commonly used graph for showing frequency distribution or how often each different value in a set of data occurs.
Okay, now I'm gonna tell the parts of a histogram. For the first, the title. The title describes the information included in the histogram, and also they have x-axis. So the x-axis are intervals that show the scale of value which the measurement fall under. And also they have y-axis. So the y-axis show the number of times that the value occur within the interval set by the x-axis. And last one is the bars. So the height of the bar shows the number of times that the value occur within the interval, while the width of the bar shows the interval that is covered. And for histogram with equal bands, the width should be the same across all bars.
And the next tool, it calls Skaters diagram. So the Skaters diagram is arguably the simplest of the 7 basic quality tools. So it is used to determine the correlation between two variables. It can show a positive correlation, a negative correlation, or no correlation.
Okay guys, if you can see, this is the example of the skater diagram, and the data is featured for the last 12 days of their selling ice cream. And for the next picture is the same data as a skater plot. It is now easy to see that warmer weather leads to more sales, but the relationship is not perfect.
And the sixth tool, it calls run charts and control charts. In the context of the 7 total quality tools, run charts and control charts are typically thought of as being one tool together. The control chart is a more sophisticated version of the run chart, and the run chart records of the output result of a process over time. And
this is the example of run chart. So for this chart, you will draw the planned progress line. On the project start, you will update this chart with a new line showing the actual progress, so the client can see the status and variation in the plan and actual progress.
The next tool is stratification. So stratification is a tool used to investigate the cause of a problem by grouping the data into categories. By grouping of data by common element or characteristic, make it more easier to understand the data and to draw insight from them.
So this is the example of the stratification diagram. So the manufacturing team drew a scatter diagram to test the whether product purity and iron contamination were related. But the plot didn't demonstrate a relationship. Then a team member realized that the data came from 3 different factors. The team member redrew the diagram using a different symbol for each reactor's data that figure in the picture. After that, the patterns can be seen. The data from reactor 2 and reactor 3 are circled. Even without doing any calculation, it is clear that for those 2 reactors, purity decreases as iron increases. However, the data from reactor 1, the solid dots that are not circled, do not show that relationship. Something is different about the reactor 1.
So, that's all the 7 basic of total quality management tools, but also there are other useful quality tools such as 5S, flowcharts, surveys, failure mode and effect analysis, and last one is design of experiments, or it called DOE. So the goal of total quality management is to reduce the incidence of errors within the manufacturing or service process. So by doing these tools, companies will be able to effectively streamline any changes by updating equipment and having fully trained employees. So that's all my explanation about this topic. I hope you guys can more deeply understand about the total quality management tools, and it can be useful for the future. So thank you for your watching and your attention for this explanation. See you on the next video.
Bye!